me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, and at the beginning of the meeting, we have been sharing our vision, mission, and belief statements. And this month, we are sharing the local school district core values. We believe all students have the ability to learn, are important, have unique skills to contribute successfully to our world. We believe in a valued, highly qualified, team-oriented staff that cares for, supports, and teaches every student to their full potential every day. We believe that support and teamwork among our school districts, families, and communities provides the most effective learning outcomes in and out of the classroom. And we believe in relevant, inclusive, and engaging curriculum that appropriately prepares students for their life endeavors. All right, and our next board agenda is public comments on agenda items. And do we have any public comments?
No one signed up.
Okay, all right, thank you. And our next agenda item is the students of the month, and we'll start with the elementary.
All right. Okay, so today I actually have our September student of the month. Our November student of the month had to go home sick today, so she's not going to be here. But our September student of the month is Bailey Spires. Bailey, come on up here real quick. I got to be up here, so you have to come up here as well. All right. Oh, you know what? I'm going to grab this here real quick. Hang on a second. Okay, so Bailey is a fourth grader out of Mrs. Medina's class, right? And her mother is with her here today, Alicia Terrell. She's right back here. She has two siblings, Lily and Miley. Are you sure that's it? Positive. All right. Her favorite subject in school? Math, fist bump. Nice. All right. Her hobbies are painting and rollerblading. Painting, my wife will not let me touch a paintbrush. And I think I'd hurt myself rollerblading. So you're ahead of me on that one. Favorite food? Spaghetti. We have not matched up yet because that is not my favorite food at all. She said what she likes best about Bloomfield is that the teachers are very friendly. All right, good deal. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite movie?
Finding
Finding Nemo. What are you asking that like it's a question? It's your favorite movie. Finding Nemo is what she told me. I like that one too. That's a good one. And her teacher says this about you. Miss Medina says, I am so thankful to have Bailey in my class. She does an excellent job participating in class, listening and sharing her thoughts. She tries hard on her work and doesn't stop until she's finished. She's also kind and helpful to classmates. Bailey is a great choice for Student of the Month. Couldn't agree more. Congratulations. All right, there we go. Three. 1, 2, 3. You approve? Good job, man.
All right, now the high school student.
Yep. All right. Well, we got a slew of them tonight. We'll catch it up all the way back to August. And I'm going to start out with our November students of the month. And we had freshmen. We recognized freshmen and 8th graders. And our 8th grade student of the month is on quarantine right now as a close contact. That is Ethan Terrell. So he'll be with us in December. Right. But we do have our freshman student of the month, and that is Dominic May. We're at Dom. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on, Dominic. All right, man. Okay, as I said, Dominic is a freshman, and this the old standard questions here that they had, and they were both on point there. I said, your favorite food? Dominic says pizza. That's right, man. Any specific type?
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni? Okay, good. Easy, one topping, you know, you want there. Dominic, his teams, clubs, programs, groups that he's involved in, he is in band and he is in NJROTC. His hobbies, he enjoys video games, reading news, and reading random Wikipedia articles. Really? That's you. I like that. You never know what you get, right? You got good information there. Favorite subject and why? He is history is his favorite subject. He said, I've always had an interest in it, especially in wondering how it could change via the altering certain events, right? Okay, exactly. What would happen? What's the hit change a lot? Exactly. And what he likes most about Bloomfield High School, the size. I like the small size of the school. Means that everyone knows everyone. There's not a student in the school who is a complete nobody, as well as no insanely popular kids. This translates into a much more positive atmosphere because if someone is actively bullied or it is usually with no mean intent, or someone will rise to their defense. All right, man, we'll put it on there. So, sir, congratulations. There we go. One for you, buddy. Can I shake your hand? Right now. You good with that? Sure. Okay. So then, yep. Mom can come over, Dad, whoever. All right, Aaron's coming in. Okay. You get where you ready?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, then. All right, Dom. I got you. Congratulations, Dom. All right, you're welcome. All right. Now, I'm pulling up my sheets here. We're going all the way back to August. For Mr. Trenton George, Senior, right off the bat.
Yeah.
All right, Trenton, there you are, man. Okay, so stand up here, sir. I do want to mention Trenton. I mentioned him. What did I mention you at? I got to think now. It's terrible. I got to remember. Oh, is that our coffee and cookies and coffee community? Trenton and his brother Spencer, they are twins, and they have both enlisted in the Navy. They've already been sworn in, and Trenton is going to go into cybersecurity, right? Yeah, he is. No, do you know where, after Great Lakes, do you know where you go? No? Not yet? Doesn't matter, right? Okay. All right. So, right, so when we, back in August, when we were going, you were at MEPS, right? And so then I tell him next month, I said, hey, we've got, he goes, well, I got indoor soccer. So I was like, so today he said, I'm on the schedule, so I'm glad it's. Okay, so Trenton's favorite food? Go ahead. Pizza. You put pizza. Right? What kind of pizza? Whatever's in front of you. Well done. Here you go. Trenton is involved in cross country, soccer, track, and NJROTC.
Indoor soccer.
And indoor soccer. There you go, man. And it, certainly was a member of the cross country team that advanced to the semi-state this year. His hobbies, he likes, oh yeah, without doubt, Rubik's cubes. You ever see this? There it is. I mean, he's constantly just working it and all kinds. And then, as I mentioned, he enjoys sports there. His favorite subject is ROTC because they do a variety of things, and you guys do a variety of things, right? What do you got? You got a competition this weekend, don't you?
You do a jump.
Right, Washington. All right, here you go. What he likes most about Bloomfield, he says, I enjoy the environment and the people in it. So, well done, sir. Congratulations. Do that. All right, if you don't mind, come on, come over. We'll get a snapping picture
I guess there's still shots now.
here. Yeah, still shots. There you
Yeah,
go.
take a video.
There you go. All right, man, hold it up. There you go.
Smile or you're getting attention.
All right, man. Congratulations. Well done, Trent.
Good job, Trent. Great name.
All right, I'm cruising into September now. And in September, we had, I gotta think here. We had 7th grade, which is who I have here tonight, and Delaney juniors. So it's juniors and 7th grade. So Michi Woodruff, come on up here, would you please? All right. How are you tonight? You're good? All right. Well, I'm glad that we were able to make this in here and make this happen. All right. As this is introduced, this is Michi Woodruff. She's a 7th grader here at Bloomfield Middle School. Her favorite food, she wrote, is a chocolate bomb. What is a chocolate bomb?
It's like a chocolate circle and then you put it into hot
Oh my gosh. So it's like all chocolate, right? Okay, I can see that. I can see that. She is involved, she's a part of our after-school program, the CCLC, STEAM and robotics teams, right? All right, you like that?
Mhm.
Yeah, she does well. She's in that, and I know Ms. Stillman enjoys having her there in class. I asked her hobbies. She likes to draw and finish schoolwork. So you don't have any late assignments, do you? Girl, right there. And what do you draw? What do you like to draw?
I like to draw like cartoons.
Oh, yeah? Okay. All right. Her favorite subject and why? Her favorite subject is science. I can see that being a part of the after-school program because it is fun when you get to do hands-on projects, right? Project-based learning. I like that with our new tech. And what do you like most about Bloomfield Middle High School? The teachers. They are helpful and kind, and I can relate to most of them. Congratulations. Well done, Michi.
Good job.
All right. I'll post this out on the screen for everybody. All right. Ready? Go. Congratulations. Dad, you go away and stay right there. Dad, he's coming over there. Hey, congratulations. Good job. I'm glad we got to recognize you here in person. Thanks for coming back. All right, and now we go to October, and Allison. Allison was at the FFA convention, right? Right. This is Allison Lauperdale. She is a sophomore here at Bloomfield High School. I'm gonna have to ask you the questions because I don't have the information on them. Right, so you've been going through there, so we've got it there. So on the spot, favorite food? Yeah. Lasagna. Thank you. I didn't know if I was going to get it out of her. Now, so. She doesn't say much throughout the day. Lasagna. I like that. Good call. All right, now tell them what all you're involved in.
I'm involved in data, SCCLA, SAS, softball, volleyball, Banquet, yeah.
Right.
That's it.
What's FCCLA doing right now?
Shoe drive.
Shoe drive. That's right. So good used shoes. They've got containers outside the classes there, and they're doing that. And a lot of, you've heard of State Beta Club, FCCLA, of course, FFA, a lot of activities right there, and along with volleyball and softball. Her hobbies, what do you like to do?
Nothing.
Hunting. Nice. Any luck so far?
No.
No. Buck fever, as they call it, right? Yeah, that's right. You'll get that. It'll happen for you. It'll be right there, and it'll be as big as a melon when you're in that scope there. Okay. What is your favorite subject?
No.
Math. Why? Why math?
I'm just good at it.
There you go. We like things that it's easy. We like things that we're good at. All right. So math. So are you in algebra 2? Yeah. Okay. So Ms. Todd's algebra 2 honors. All right. And what do you I know I'm putting you on the spot here, a little more in-depth question, but what do you like most about Bloomfield High School?
The people.
The people. I'm with you on that. We got good people around here, don't we? We do. All right. Allison, congratulations. Mom and Dad coming over.
But you can.
Stay for the rest of them.
Yeah, the fun part's just not over yet.
I gotta go home and write 2 essays.
What I like about.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Allison is the granddaughter of Janice Parker. So who's already here. So, all right, man. See you, buddy. I'm getting I will. Always. Thank you. Good to see you guys. All right.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, good job. And that, all right, we're done.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. When I had 4, I knew.
All right, well, we'll continue with elementary recognitions.
Oh, do I have to stand up in front of the camera? Can I do
As long
Yeah,
as
wherever
we
you're
can hear you.
You sit
Huh?
down.
As long as we can hear
Hey, we'll
you.
just move different
Hear me?
spots, so it looks
Sit
like
down.
different people.
I don't usually, I don't usually have a hard time people hearing me, so that's all right. Just few recognitions. I'd like to recognize 4 students I wasn't able to recognize at the last board meeting for our drawing winners for our character trait program for the month of October, which was Courage. And that was Dylan Lance, Josie Hudson, Matthew Mason, and Lillian Terrell. And then we have 4 more this month for the character trait of trustworthiness. Of course, we have a drawing tomorrow and then one on Tuesday as well. So those students for this month so far are Colton Cullison, Reagan Hatch, Nolan Strange, and Maisie McIntosh. So I know the kids get really excited whenever they win. They come down, they get to draw or get to pick a prize bag, and they don't know what's inside it until they open it up. And if they're lucky enough, they get to have lunch with the principal. Megan Dowden says that that's a detention. I don't agree, but I really enjoy doing that part because it's a time that I can sit down, they get to bring a friend, and we just get to sit down and just be people. You know, not Mr. Riggleman and the students, but just people. And I learn a lot about these kids in those times. Just
At least one of them enjoy it, right?
one of us, that's right, that's right.
All the kids do too.
Yeah, some of the conversations sometimes, I lose control. They take off in an area and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't even know how to talk to you about this. Nothing bad. I'd like to recognize Mrs. Parsley. She just had her Thanksgiving dinner the other night. Dr. Lindman was there as well. And she invites, all of her students, they're allowed to bring, I think, 2 or 3, 2 people with them. Could be a parent, could be somebody else. Some of them brought grandparents, some of them brought an aunt or an uncle, or just friends, but they're allowed to have 2. I forget how many she said she had attended, like 60 something, I believe. So there were several people there, which was nice. We had to use the elementary cafeteria, so we had enough room. I like what she does here because not only are they preparing a meal and they're feeding the families, but she has the students introduce themselves, introduce their family or whoever they brought with them. They speak on what they're thankful for. And then they also have to demonstrate the proper way to set a table. I learned a few things in that category, but it's really neat because she puts an emphasis on the public speaking part. And that's something that I can remember in high school having to public speak, for speech class, and it just wasn't good at that time. I was just like, I was nervous wreck. I didn't know what I was going to say. Even if I walked up there and knew what I was going to say, I forgot. It was gone, right? So I think it's awesome that she does this at such a young age. And I think it's great too that we have teachers that are that passionate because this is not something that she's mandated to do. She does this on her own.
She made a lot of food.
Yeah. And last year when we told her she couldn't do it, it was not fun. So we had to say, you can't do that this year. You know what I mean? So she really cares about those students. And it's awesome when you have teachers that care that much. And along those lines, our grades 1 and 2 are preparing for their Thanksgiving programs. Same scenario. They want to do these things. Last year we couldn't do it. This year when they asked me, of course, they want parents to come in and you can't have them in the rooms. There's just too many people packed together. So we had to find another way. And we did. And so using the high school cafeteria at different times and such. So they were able to have their programs, or going to have their programs. So I appreciate Mr. Dean and them for giving us that space as well. I know they got things they like to do as well. So it's awesome, especially this time of year when we get into the holiday season, to just see all the great things that our teachers are doing, our students are doing, our clubs and our programs. One that I throw down toward the bottom, but I might as well throw it in here, is our student council and Miss Hill as well. I mean, they're running a food drive. And they run this thing all year long. So every month, the grade level has the food drive, and they do a contest. Whoever can bring in the most, I think it's pounds of food, they win. I think it's a pizza party in May, something like that. So we announce it every morning. We don't tell them how many pounds of food necessarily just yet, but we announced that this is what's going on. This is the grade level that's running that program. And I just think it's great because they're learning to give. They're learning to just volunteer for things and to give to the charities. And again, this time of year, this is the time where in the holidays, it's nice to be able to give to families that are in need for whatever reason. I would like to thank Mr. Dean and his staff for a job well done on the Veterans Day program. I don't know how many of you got to come to that, but it was really awesome. Also, Chief Holberg and the ROTC program. It's really cool. I mean, that's something that's a touch that we can add that most schools can't add. It's really, really awesome to watch that. Our 5th grade students and their teachers, they had to stand up to the pledge of allegiance. They did a good job on that, leading that. And what I find amazing too with those programs, and all the way into kindergarten, you never know with a kindergarten class, that's what's going to happen sometimes, right? But obviously last year we didn't get to do it, but the first year I was here and this year, I didn't see any issues. They come in, they sit down, it's like they know this is a time of reverence, and they do what they're supposed to do. It's really awesome. They may go back to the classroom and drop kick somebody, but in the gymnasium, they did a great job. And I'm always looking up there watching them just to make sure they do a good job. We're also running at this time, around the holidays, we do different contests. And for Thanksgiving, we have what we call the gobble off. So every class has to run a contest to see which turkey can gobble the best, and then those 3 from that grade level, like first day we do kindergarten, 1st grade, they come up, and over the intercom, they gotta give it.
This is yours, Mike.
Oh,
On camera.
Mine's bad. You don't wanna hear that. I used to practice that a little bit, it was still bad. So I did not win. But they enjoy it, and it's so funny to listen to them too, especially the little ones. It's so funny. Some of them are really good. So we'll run that. I think tomorrow we do 4th and 5th grade, and then Monday we have the contest of champions. And on Tuesday we announce the winners. They all get little certificates and a little prize, and the winner has to wear a big turkey hat around for the day. So come Christmas we do the same thing with an elf contest and then a Santa contest. Christmas outreach program, Mrs. Hill and Mrs. Street. They run this thing every year, and they collect, man, I think they work on it all year long, honestly. But when they start pulling things out, I cannot believe how much stuff that they have collected. And they reach out to families that need these things, and I can't remember how many they gave away last year, but it was, well, they had that boardroom completely full of stuff down there, which is now the nurse's office. But so they're hard at work, getting after it. That's going to be an awesome event as well. Our 3rd grade and our 3rd grade teachers there and the students went to Westgate for STEM activities. I really appreciate Westgate and Crane for working with our school. They love to have the kids come over there, and they learn a lot. So it's always a time, they want to go. The kids and the teachers want to go, and I think that is awesome. It tells you how great the program is. Also recognize Mrs. Barker and Mrs. Heaton as they're heating up the math bowl competition preparation for 5th and 6th grade. So they do that every year. And last year they had to do it virtually. I haven't asked them if they're going to get to do it in person or not this year, but I hope they can. I think that's a much better experience. 4th grade team did their STEM electrical projects. Mrs. Medina, Mrs. Van Evender, Ms. Graver, and Mrs. Riggs. Basically, again, Crane supplied them with everything they needed. They had to, it was interesting because they called me down and they're like, all right, you got to help us out. We're not sure how all this goes together. So we had to get all the parts out and figure out the continuity, and they had to make a light bulb light up. There was a robot that had to, they did a little spinny thing to get it hooked up right. There was a 3rd one, I can't remember what the 3rd one was, but there were 3 items that they had to figure out how they worked so that they could teach the kids. And it was interesting. It was a lot. It was fun for grown adults to get in there and just mess with them. I can't imagine, how exciting that is for the kids. Also, Ashley Dunkerley and Adam Scribner for leading a training for our teachers. It was a STEM novel engineering training, and it's where they they basically use characters out of a book. They combine that with a STEM activity. And it was really, a lot of it's for the after-school program, but any teacher that wanted to put that into play in their classroom could also do the training. And so they came in and did a training for them as well. So appreciate that from them. I think that's worthwhile training there. It's something they're going to use and enjoy. With that, I think that is all I have. Yep, that's good. Good, thank you.
Now for the middle school and high school.
All those pictures out in that tweet. Yeah, Mike was mentioning Ashley and Adam, Dr. Scribner. That is through our Readable English grant that they were able to do the professional development. And Tara Kelly, who's our 6th grade language arts teacher, 6th and 7th language arts, and Ashley went down to Bedford, went down to the Boys and Girls Club at Bedford. And there was a training because North Lawrence, Bloomfield, I think Mitchell is in that Readable English grant that we were able to receive on that. So we'll give you some more information on that as we get going through, because that's the first start. And you'll hear a little bit about it tonight in the when we go to the school improvement plans. So just to round out what we had here for the middle school and high school, we had our students of the month. Glad to catch up on all of them. We're all caught up, other than Ethan, who will be here in December. And some other recognitions that we have, with it being a short month and not having all that done, we'll probably have a few there in December. But right off the top, Gracie Lowry. Gracie was made All-Star. She's an Indiana All-Star, 1A and 2A, first one at Bloomfield. We've had All-State, but she is a volleyball Indiana All-Star. She'll be playing this weekend. So congratulations, Gracie. Wrapping up a good career there with that. And then on top of that, Coach Potts, Deanna Potts, was recognized as the Central District Coach of the Year, North, Central, and South. And so congratulations, Deanna. Well deserved. She's had a good run. She puts in the effort and time. And anybody that's coached in the thing, you don't do it for the money, number one, because the hours, it just doesn't work out. You do it because you enjoy it. And Deanna's done a great job. And of course, they had a great year with the semi-state, and ran up against a really tough Trinity Lutheran out of Seymour, but did well. So really happy for them. We had our ELearning Day on November 3rd. That was district-wide. And the feedback that I got from teachers, and they appreciated it, was relevant and meaningful professional development. So I thought it was a good day all the way around. Well planned, well organized. Everybody had places, where they were doing. We had training on special ed. We had training on human trafficking. Want to talk about an eye opener right there, man. I mean, and that's local. It's not just, it's not something we see on the news and you think about it being away. I mean, it's local, in the state, county, whatever. So really gets you thinking. When the young lady that came down, I can't remember her name, but she came down from Indianapolis free of charge.
Elaine Bands.
Thank you. All right. Well spoken, did a good job. And going to have her come back and speak to a couple different grades, talk to her afterwards. And so we plan on having her speak to our 8th grade and sophomores, and like to do something like that annually. Our middle school character trait for November is dedication, being dedicated. And again, that's all part of the New Tech Network. This coming Tuesday, normally I don't do something in advance, but just with that, we're going to do that Tuesday. And so all through the month, students are recognized for their dedication at whatever they're doing. And they get recognized for that, and then they will receive a certificate. And all those that are recognized by their teachers, now this is all by staff that recognizes all the middle school grades, 6, 7, and 8, then one will be put into the hat and drawn, and that person gets a blizzard at lunch that day. So Max Zaragoza was our last winner last month for reliability. So that'll be this coming Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving break, of course. Mike mentioned the student council, I think in the elementary said, Ms. Hill. food drive. The middle school and high school student council conducted their food drive in kind of different way. The middle school had competitions for homeroom, and the high school did Rocktober in the thing. So we had karaoke, and then the admittance into the karaoke was a canned food item. I brought in 6 because I just sang 6 songs. I did 6 songs. But we had that
karaoke.
Yeah, it was good, man. And it's amazing. Some of the people got, and then they started getting up their groups, and I was just like, look out for it. And started singing the bell and all this, and I mean, they were belting it out, man. They're really getting on it. But 901 food items were collected between the middle school and the high school, and all that is donated to the local food pantry at Woodfield First Baptist Church. So really proud of the students to do that. And then you heard Allison, with the FCCLA and the shoe drive. And first day I read the announcement, I was kind of skimming down through, trying to be efficient and time wise and everything like that. And I read mixed match shoes. And as I got reading, I thought, why would they be wanting shoes like that? And then I read above it. I was like, oh, you can't turn these shoes. We want good, used full pair of shoes there. So
We had a big chuckle that morning.
yeah, it's not proud of it. You just put it in front. It's the old Ron Burgundy. Put it on the teleprompter, and I'm going to read it there. So, they've got that going on right now. So, one day I walk by there, a couple days and everything, and boom, now they're full and everything. SWIAC All-Conference. I know I mentioned a lot of last month about a lot of individual and team awards there. They were recognized on the 4th, I think, of November. That 4th at the SWIAC. We had first time we'd had an all-conference banquet since November 19, and so volleyball. Gracie Lowry, Brianna Boer, Riley Shantz, and Emma Vaught all made all conference. Tennis, Ryan Schulte, Balin Graff. That was it on that. I looked through that picture. Boys cross country, Wyatt Fry, Justin Beard, Landon Myers, Lance McIntosh. And then girls cross country, honorable mention was Malia Pischel and Jaden Meadis. And then we had the SWIAC banquet. We recognized in the spring, in the fall, the golf medalist, the junior high golf medalist. And then in the spring, we recognized the track high points person for junior high. And Blake Neal from Bloomfield was the medalist for the junior high golf. So Blake was recognized there at that. Mike mentioned our Veterans Day program. Appreciate that. We had Major Tom Bean, no relation. Tom got an opportunity to speak with him. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. He's currently stationed on base and just started his 3-year
dog.
What's that?
With his dog.
Yeah, with his dog, Bo Cephas, right? Yeah, Red Tick. Yeah, and he was something else, man. And but it was good. We were appreciative of the major to come in and speak to. He was very, very complimentary. Number one, of just the support and the turnout, and of course, we hadn't had that for a while. It was good to see all the veterans, and it was sad because some of the veterans are gone. And I mentioned there at the awards or at the Veterans Day, mentioned some by name that were not with us, that were there the last time. So that's always tough. But it was really good to see. And this place was full. We had cookies and drinks for them afterwards. And like I said, it was just great to have everybody back. So that's what I want to finish with tonight.
Thank you. All right. So we will go to the consent agenda.
Yeah, we got the meeting minutes from our last regular board meeting and our executive session and our special session on November 2nd. And the treasurer's report for the month of October, and some claims for November, and then personnel. And just a side note in there, we're going to switch on when we approve coaches. We're going to approve them at the start of the off season. After the season, makes more sense, we think, to do that. To prep. They use the off season to prep for the regular season, so approve them for their off season work. Be horrible to work and build a team in the off season, and then the season comes and then not be approved. So we're going to approve them early after or at the start of the off season. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they had, the limited contact hours that they have beforehand, so.
So that's why you see fall coaches on there. Just wanted to explain that. Any questions?
Okay, we have a recommendation to approve. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Okay, and a second? All right, and all in favor? All right, thank you. And other business. We have a public hearing on the proposed purchase agreement. And do we have any comments from the public?
No.
Seeing none. The land purchase agreement and resolution.
Yes, we had a couple of executive sessions offer for part of our ag land that we do not use, 4 acres, and had a person come to make an offer on that, or request to purchase that land, and we have to get appraisals, and that can take no less than the average of those 2 appraisals, and that's the offer you see on that. And we include as a benefit to the school, intends to build a housing addition on that land. And we have gone through all the proper advertisements and channels to get that purchase agreement going, as well as a resolution that we have to do, just part of the legalities for a school to sell land, and that's on there as well. Any questions about that purchase agreement or resolution?
All right, seeing none, so we have a recommendation to accept the resolution and also the purchase agreement. Do I have a motion? Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you.
All right, the next thing is the cash farm lease. We had put a request for proposals out several weeks ago and did not get any initially proposed, but then had an individual that said that they were interested kind of after that proposal time. And so I've been talking with that individual, and since that was the only person that showed interest, we were able to I guess work with that individual. Instead of a 3-year lease, it's going to be a 7-year lease. And it's just going to be hayfields out of the South Complex with the conditions and the lease agreement as written in that cash farm lease that I attached in your executive content. Any questions about that?
Okay, seeing we have a recommendation, do I have a motion?
A motion that we approve.
Okay, and a second? Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you.
All right, I've been recommended by some of my superintendent colleagues that it's a good idea to get the grant money that we receive approved. Just saying that we basically accept the grants that we get. So I made I think it's an exhaustive list of all the grants we get, and I can explain those in a little more detail if you want. I'll just kind of give a quick 1-word description. Our Title I grant is based on basically the poverty rate here in our community. We get a certain amount of money based on that for an at-risk population. Title II, these are federal grants, by the way. The title grants are. Title II is can be used for professional development, can be used to reduce class size, just to improve instruction. We use that to reduce class size. Title III is for ELL students, English language learners. And Title IV is also some similarities to Title II, but it's more, it can be technology, it can be social emotional learning, and it can be to improve just education in general, a little broader scope there. And we use that to help pay for our at-risk counselor, at-risk advisor in the elementary. And then our 21st Century, that's our before and after school program. Alternative Ed helps pay for our Bloomington Academy, our Plato. Early intervention, Mike, and it was Jessica Lauderdale. that you guys did the early intervention this year to help identify dyslexia and other needs in early, that's usually K through 2, early intervention. Formative assessment, we use Clearsight. Clearsight's the company that does the ELearn, and we're going to do a mid-year and about a month before the ELearn assessment that's very similar to that, to see where there's holes and gaps with our students to help them better prepare for the state test. Let's see, GEAR grant, that was a consortium of schools that we have those T-Mobile hotspots we got during the pandemic for people who don't have internet at home. High ability, we use that, for our AP teachers, and we're sending 4 teachers to the high ability conference in Indianapolis coming up here in December to get more training in how to best reach our high ability students. Ready Schools grant, you guys know about that. That was Jenny Medina helped, she took a year off school to teach and to help organize that Ready Schools grant, and a lot of our strategic plan, even our new tech, our makery, and our improving our communication. A lot of school improvement things are done with that Ready Schools grant. The Secured School Safety Grant is what we pay our school resource officers with. A portion of their salary, I should say, not all of it. Impact Aid, we get that for our students who are families are in the military, and we get some funds for that we can get. It has a lot of flexibility with the use of that. The Learning Recovery Grant, that is how we got the readable English. That had to do a little bit with the pandemic, with the loss of learning, but we're doing readable English with that Learning Recovery Grant. And then, of course, ESSER has to do with COVID, all those, ESSER 1, 2, 3. And we're using those for a variety of purposes. 20% of ESSER 3 has to be used for learning and recovery. And then the TAG grant is for teachers who are highly effective or effective. They get a teacher appreciation grant, and we should be finding out about that anytime now to submit in December. So I gave you the quick skinny on those. Any questions?
Well, this is an all-inclusive list, but going forward, will we just have these before the board as we receive them, or will it just be an annual thing? Or?
I think just an annual. It might be good to try to do them as we get them. I try to get all the ones we have in the year, but we're gonna get another grant next school year, because we did not get the 21st Century renewed for the before and after school program. It's a long story. If you want to hear it, I can tell you, but felt like we should have, but we did not. But we got another grant to substitute that called the LIFT grant, but that won't be till next school year. So maybe I'll try to do it before the school year, the ones that we anticipate getting.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we have a recommendation.
Yeah, just to say we willing to accept all these grants. Grant money. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah. So do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, and a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you. Now, it is the elementary school improvement plan.
All right. Okay, so just kind of hit some highlights on the plan, and you guys have all received a copy, right? Okay, so just kind of going through it, we marked some areas of improvement as a team. There's 9 of us on the team. We talked, and they all, so I try to get people from each of the grade levels, right? So everyone is represented there. But areas that we marked for the school year, obviously writing and reading skills and levels, and we're always looking for improvement in writing and reading. Math scores, and I'm going to go a little deeper with that here in a minute. And then integrating technology into the classroom. Those are all important. We have one-to-one, we all have Chromebooks, but it's a process of learning how to use that technology in your everyday curriculum in a positive way. And I've seen some really good examples of that in the classroom this last few weeks as I've been going through doing evaluations. One of the things with writing that we are focusing on is writing across the curriculum. In other words, integrating it, right? So, can you do, we think of writing, you think, an English teacher teaching kids how to write and different types of styles of writing and all that. But can that be done in history as well? I mean, obviously that's a pretty natural combination there, right? So even at the elementary level, you can do that. Our 5th grade will rotate, but all the others stay in that classroom. But can you teach history and still pull that writing and still pull that reading comprehension in with history? And really creating a focus on how to do that and how to do it in the manner, we talked earlier in the year about, I-learn scores and things like that and expectations, but how to do it in the manner that guides you that direction as well to improve in those areas. Mathematics, same thing, bringing those scores up. I've talked a lot about fluency. And I've talked to all the grade levels, and we continue to have discussions, and we're working on creating better ways to progress monitor math fluency and also check for growth, at the same time. And those are two different things, right? It's type of assessments that you use. At an elementary level, a lot of times when you think of fluency, you think time tests, and time tests are great. But it's not a one-all end-all, right? There are other ways to assess that, not only individually, but as a small group as well. So we are focusing on different styles and different ways to do that also. And so, the teachers now are developing. One of the big pushes I've been making is developing our own assessments, right? Not relying on state standardized assessments, right? It's something that we have to deal with, and we have to make sure that it's in the front of our minds, but can we create those ourselves? Can we check for growth ourselves, right? And keep progress monitor that and make sure that our kids are learning what we think they're supposed to be learning in the time frame that they're supposed to be learning, right? So we're going over curriculum maps and keeping curriculum maps updated. And a curriculum map is basically, it's what you learn in the year that you break down into the quarters. You know where your standards are. You learn what your power standards are, and all of your power standards in grades 3 through 5 are the standards that are going to get tested the most. And getting those in front of our students as soon as we can, right? Obviously, you got to lay a foundation, so you can't teach it all on day one. But once we've laid that foundation, let's get it in front of them, right? And then, we're using different things to do that. We've got Dibbles, we've got Clearsight is a big one that we're using. I think at the last board meeting, I talked about the group that sat down and really broke that down, really dove into that. And so Monday and Tuesday coming up, they're going to do their first interim tests. And we're going to get the data from that, and then we're going to have to start breaking down that data, seeing where our kids are at, and giving them what they need to improve, right? That's the whole point. Using, in the meantime, other benchmark tests and different types of problems and things that they give you through Clearsight. Clearsight, by the way, is the same company that created item, right? So it's very interchangeable. So the idea is to be able to continually get that in front of our students, to assess it. And it doesn't always have to be an assessment for a grade that you put in a grade book, right? It can be an assessment just to mark it and show growth and talk to the student about their achievement, or in some cases laugh at, so that they have a firm grasp of their own learning, right? So everything is becoming more focused on what we need to do to increase fluency in both math and ELA, and comprehension in ELA as well. One of the things that we did, right out of the gate was identify what fluency is. Because sometimes we get caught up in, when you talk about fluency for like upper level, it's like, okay, you kind of get a grasp of what that is. When you talk about like a kindergartner, a lot of times we think, well, I don't know if they're capable of it. But fluency is simply knowing it well and being able to come up with it quickly, right? That's fluency. I know it, and I know it well enough that I really don't have to think about it a whole lot. I can just put it out there. For a kindergartner, that might mean counting and identifying the numbers to a certain point. For a third grader, it might mean knowing your 1 and 2 digit multiplication, right? So it's different, but all of it is a stepping stone to get where we need to be, right? And so that's kind of the focus that we're taking. And when we wrote the school improvement plan, that's what we had in mind. Those are the conversations that we had. And then we wrote this, got it sent out to the state, got started in our professional learning communities is what they're called, which for elementary, you can pretty well just call it grade level meetings for the most part. So they have days of the week that they set aside that they meet as a team and they're discussing these items. They're creating plans and they're creating assessments so that we know where our kids are at all times. And then scoring those and checking for that growth and making sure that our kids are making the improvements that they need to make. So then we meet every couple of weeks. I'll meet with them as a group as well. And we just kind of see where we're at. We give them any ideas. We're looking for different types of professional development ideas where I can send maybe a couple of teachers and they can bring that back and share what they've learned. Because sometimes it's not always a bad idea to go out and see how somebody else is doing it because they think of things that maybe you hadn't thought about. Or they have an idea that, hey, that's really cool. I hadn't thought about going in that direction. May not be better or worse, just different. And sometimes students enjoy that different approach. So we're just taking a more purposeful approach towards math and ELA at all levels. It's not, the ELearning test, when you think of those scores, you see grades 3, 4, and 5. But what we do in grades 1, 2, and 3, that's the foundation. And we got to make sure that that fluency is there, that growth is there, and that proficiency is there as much as we can get it. So that when they get into third grade, we're not teaching, we still have to teach fluency, but we're not teaching second or first grade fluency. Those kids can hit the ground running because now we're teaching problem solving or just more comprehension in the reading or different styles of writing. They're writing now, they're not learning how to write, they're writing to show what they know. So that's kind of been the approach. So when we wrote the plan, and you see those goals there, that's why. That's why we took the approach that we took. And it's going to be probably slow growth for us as well because we're learning some new concepts as well. So the goal is to keep growing. So
Thank you.
what I've got.
All right, so middle and high schools.
Yeah.
Improvement plan.
Okay, you're going to hear just some of the similar things and the same in some instances. One thing that I will say moving forward, and I'm sure that the state next year will have a school improvement plan for the middle school and we'll have a school improvement plan for the high school. All right, and we'll have two different committees that will be working on that. You can see who the committee members that were a part of this and putting this together. Following the guidelines from the Department of Education and putting together a school improvement plan. What we have, with our action plan, and currently what we have is that all students will complete a relevant pathway at Bloomfield Middle and High School. And in that pathway, we're talking about the continuation and development of best practices, project-based learning strategies, enhancing student understanding through rich tasks, emphasizing, of course, the Indiana academic standards, working with community partnerships, and continue to work and monitor our curriculum. And Mike mentioned to you that our, Dr. Lehman talked this year about doing a curriculum audit, and through that audit, mapping for us has come through. Because with the turnover of teachers like we had this year, and new teachers coming in, having that map there to help them and see the pacing guide that they would be able to use. So teachers are currently in the midst of the audit of the standards that they're covering, making sure they've covered your standards, and then mapping, and that mapping looking at what is, somebody's, who knows?
I've been there.
It's basketball games, man. I mean, that's what happens. And people get there and, hey, see ya, we'll pick you up afterwards. So, the opportunity there for teachers to create their lesson, their unit, what they have, what time frame will it be in that? What assessments will they have? And what standards are they covering in that map, in that audit? We have a lot of different reference points as far as data is concerned. With the junior, senior high school, what we've been doing up to that point, of course, over the years, we had iStep. iStep went to ELearning. We had, with the ELearning, we did still have iStep data with the 10th grade. This year's senior class, I mentioned to you before how well they had done and where they ranked in the state. Their cohort is the last group to have the iStep. Yesterday at our faculty meeting, we were talking about that, where we started out with the old GQE, the graduation qualifying exam. We had the Algebra 1, we had the English 10. We got really good at that, and the state changes, and then you work to get to that. And that's just kind of how it goes with that. But the cohort.
Changing again.
Yeah.
That'd be the SAT.
Exactly. Yeah. So this year's the senior cohort. And I say that because that's just terminology that we use. It'd be like if I went to somebody's work and, you guys would have different things. The cohort is the group that stays. Once they get into high school, you have to track that cohort, kids coming in and kids coming out. And so we are judged, based, graded, how you want to say, on that cohort as they go through, based on academic progress, attendance, and graduation, eventually graduation rate with it. But we have, like I mentioned there, the graduation rate, attendance rate, SAT, PSAT, ASVAB. And so we have a lot of different reference points that we can use. But what we want to do moving forward, and this is a good time because going to the middle school and the high school, we can kind of separate that now. And for a long time, it was a misconception because when you looked at the data, it was just how the state put it up there. It would be grades, 3 through 8. And so our teachers and the elementary teachers the same way, we're thinking, well, we're being graded based on, 7th and 8th grade scores. Or my teachers, we're being graded on element. No, it's not. If you looked at the number of students that were being assessed and everything, it was just your grade level. But it was just a little murky there on that. But moving forward, we're going to be able to separate that. First off with the ELearning. ELearning stops at grade 8. So with the middle school course, we'll be focusing on grades 6, 7, and 8. Mike mentioned Clearsight. That's the formative assessment that we use. Clearsight used to be Airways, which AWS, and as Dr. Lehman said, they write the ELearning exam, right? And so, it made sense when we, which we haven't met with Ann this year, but Ann Puckett-Harpold, you may have heard that name before, mentioned it before, through M.A. Rooney. Way back in 2010, we started with her at Acuity and really working on our benchmarks as we went along. But Clearsight is our formative assessment. We had like 2 testing dates moving forward, late November, late February. We're currently in the process right now. I know Mrs. Dunkley, Mrs. Heaton have tested this week on math and language arts. And following Thanksgiving, Ms. Kelly and Ms. Miller will be doing that. We'll take that data, and the other piece of that is the professional development that we want to get for Clearsight, because we want to know what resources we have that will give us effective use of the data that we get from that. I mean, it's one thing to test, but we want to not only test, but we want to get the data that we can use to match that with the benchmarks. And it's not just about an assessment, but it's about using the types of questions that the kids will see on the ELearning in their instruction, in teachers' daily instruction. And then we'll get a second benchmark in February to see the growth from A to B where we're at. And then continuing with those daily benchmarks in the classroom, going then with our goal for the next year for ELearning. I mentioned to you before readable English. Another performance goal that we will look at is our reading comprehension. Readable English, I told you I'd give you a little more in depth, only enough to be dangerous. Glyphs. If you Google readable English, right? You can go to, like I said, you can just Google it, go to YouTube. There's good informative videos on what readable English is. And in a nutshell, they, through research, have created glyphs, which are like symbols that help students to enunciate words. And so, and I'm not a language arts person, so it's about as far as I'm going to go with that. However, they take the first part of basically the first 6 weeks of school, and they teach these glyphs and the students how to use those glyphs and how to enunciate the words with that. And then they have what they call the conversion tool, which they can take any text, Google Doc, Word Doc, PDF, and they can put in this conversion tool. The student can, then the teacher does that. The teacher can do it. The students can do it on their own with the use of their Chromebook, and it will convert that text using those glyphs so they can read through there. And the point is that as students learn to understand how to read, the comprehension increases. And we do beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of year. And I'm excited to see what the middle of the year data looks like, just from what I'm seeing on the beginning of the year. Because you can look down through there and see a student and know them, and you think, yep, I got that. I understand that. I see where, they're reading, at what level they're reading at, and how many years are they behind, or are they on schedule. And so I'm looking forward to that, because I think that is going to pay off, because when they can comprehend what they're reading, that's going to carry over into all subjects. And then we're going to round out the middle school with employability skills, life skills, and pathways, and getting our students to understand what they have when they get into high school. What does it mean to get credits? What are graduation requirements? What are diploma requirements? What does that mean? If I don't pass English, what do I do? You got to take it again. And of course, with the junior class cohort and on down, that's what we have is graduation pathways. So those are goals that we're going to look at as a middle school moving forward when we create our school improvement plan. And that's why I think the move to the middle school has been a positive move. I think, as Dr. Lehman said, it's given them an identity. And we've got a great team in the middle school, and looking forward to that. On the high school side, we're going to continue with the completion of a pathway of study. We're going to also continue with our early college focus and focus on graduation data. So when I talk about a focus of graduation data, graduation pathway, all right? Just a quick reminder, 3 buckets. Bucket 1, diploma. Bucket 2 is employability skills. And bucket 3 is the post-secondary readiness. And there's 8 or 9 different competencies with that. Employability skills, project-based learning, service-based learning, work-based learning. The diploma, it's general diploma, core 40 diploma, core 40 with academic honors, technical honors. And then, of course, our graduation rate. One thing I'd like to say, and I just want you to understand, is we've always had an outstanding graduation rate. We have. And I think that's an advantage for a small school. You know your kids. The state is always changing things on you, kind of moving the target. Now, and I say this because, number one, we don't have control of it. The state says if a family wants to homeschool their students, they have the right to homeschool. I do not argue that. What gets where the school comes under the crosshairs is that if a student starts in that cohort, that freshman year, cohort of 21, 22, or actually, I'm sorry, it's the cohort of their graduation year, 2025. Thank you. And at some point between now and then, they leave school. They withdraw to homeschool, all right? They have to now be on schedule to graduate, all right? If they're not, meaning by the end of their freshman year, they have to have 10 credits, 20 by their sophomore, 30 by their junior, 35 if they leave during their 8th semester. If not, that goes against the school. So I don't have the authority now to keep families from withdrawing to homeschool. I mean, I have exit interviews, and I try to, tell them, look for what do we, why you need this, what is best, where are you at? But just so you know, that's going to affect our graduation rate.
If they withdraw and go to homeschool and they're freshmen or a sophomore and they don't have 10 credits, they count on a graduation rate to drop out.
As a dropout. That is correct.
And so
If I got it,
being a high school principal for 12, 13, years old, that's gonna be hard to have a good graduation rate.
Right.
You don't have,
I don't
they
see
can
how.
they can get upset at the school for whatever reason.
Right,
And just decide to leave, and sometimes they're upset at the school, a lot of times the student struggles.
used to,
With a variety of things, and they want to homeschool,
Right.
and we could support that if that's what's best for the kid, but then we get dinged, if they had struggled, let's say their freshman year and didn't get 10 credits. Yeah, it's not, graduation rates are gonna go down.
and I mean, it's, you know, we were audited again this year. That's a common thing, to be audited, and you submit the documentation, which we do a good job of. We track our kids and know where they're at, and we have all the documentation on it. You know, I had 2 students that left in their career. They left at the end of their junior year. One had 29 credits, the other had 28, right? Right there. Still count against us. So that's frustrating from the state, because used to, you could, you know, was it court ordered? Was it economic based? I mean, when, you know, to withdraw if they were under 18. Now the state says it is the family's, you know, choice, and you know, they can withdraw to homeschool.
So if those same 2 students had stayed in school, they wouldn't have counted against us.
Yeah, and with
you
the
would
idea that, with the idea that, hey, they're going to graduate. Exactly. That's
They
right.
can catch up in their
That's correct.
senior, junior year or whatever.
That's
what
right.
if they transfer to another?
Now, that's a total different, if they transfer, you know, to another school, then that is, of course, Jessica sees that because that's tracked on the help me out, Jessica.
I
what's-
want to say IDO's website.
Yes,
They're categorized differently.
right,
So by how we exit the student, there are different codes associated with, they transferred to another school in Indiana, they may have transferred out of state, so that wouldn't count against us. Withdrawal to homeschool would.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a handful of other ones.
right. And then the data center was what I was.
Oh, the F10 Application Center
Yeah, thank you.
and now Data Exchange.
Yeah, and so we, you know, and then if there's a conflict and they're being counted by 2 schools, by Bloomfield and, because that's pretty much what you have to wait for until they get that. Used to, you got a records request and you were good to go. But if they transfer to another school, it does not count against you. No, not at all. But I just because that's something that I want you all to understand that, and that was just last year was the first year that they instituted that. And so there'll be some years where that affects us. When I say.
He's prepping for a lower graduation.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, that's right. That's right. Because I mean, we're, like I said, we're proud of what we do and we know our kids. And I'm telling you, when they leave, you know, it's not a fun thing. I don't enjoy it when they leave. And that, you know, that they feel that they, you know, it's their choice. When they have it. I'll just briefly talk about our pathways study. This brings up because I can recognize 2 teachers. But completion of a pathway of study, we're talking now with that. We certainly have our kids that go to Hoosier Hills, have a career center there, have 18 different career pathways that they can do, CTE. We offer in the building, we offer FACS, ag, computer science, business now pathway. Tabitha Burton was just recently credentialed as a dual credit instructor through Ivy Tech for business. That'll be a first. We've not had business dual credits here for a long, we've not had any during my tenure. And then Bree Carazia was also credentialed. She has, for her master's in fine arts, we will have dual credit classes in theater appreciation and music appreciation for that. So we're ecstatic. And again, I've said this before, I was the guy that just said, hey, we've got all these things. Let's get them focused in one area in one year and move forward with that with early college. It's the teachers. Without the teachers, we're not able to do this for all the students. And that's without question.
Did you say Carazia? That's our history teacher.
That's right. Yep, yep, that's right.
Mhm.
Yep, she has a master's in fine arts. So, we have those, we have a robust curriculum in life sciences, in math, English, and so forth. We will continue to provide ASVAB testing to our juniors. One part as a graduation pathway requirement, but also as a career inventory for the students. Our early college, we're going to continue to work to provide, I don't want to say increase, but we're going to focus on the number of students with at least 6 dual credits or more, because that's what constitutes early college. It's not they get the Indiana College Core or they get the applied associate's degree. It's just the number of dual credits, give them those opportunities to go. And focus on the number of students that earn the Indiana College Core, that core group of 30, the number of students that earn an applied general associate's degree. If I haven't told you, we may have 6 this year. And then we're going to continue to provide the PSAT and SAT testing dates each year for our sophomores and our juniors and our freshmen on that. And so that from a high school moving forward for our school improvement, those are going to be where our performance goals go along with. So I really try to crunch it in.
It's a lot.
Yes.
So the school improvement plans take a while. They're 3-year plans.
Yes.
So that you tweak them, I guess.
Right.
And on the elementary school improvement plan, we forgot to do an approval, so we will put them together. From elementary and the middle and high school, we have a recommendation to approve. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, thank you. And now for the superintendent's report.
All right, just give an update on COVID. I sent it out today. We do that every Wednesday, but just thought share it here at the board meeting. 3 active cases of around 30 quarantined. County's orange. We're going to stay mask optional. There has been a little bit of uptick in the eastern part of the county right now, so we're keeping an eye on that, but we're still mask optional at this point. Construction-wise, moving along well. You can see over here, they kind of starting to work on the high school offices, right? And, pray for Mrs. Bladen. Very hard for her losing that view. It's been hard. I mean, literally.
It is.
She's been here 30 years.
Right.
And that's been a beautiful view for her and
And the students.
And the students. So, it's starting to move forward with that. And you can see it going up out there as well with the steel and everything. Also wanted to mention, they mentioned about everything I would have mentioned. I did join the new tech training this week over at the feed store. When they're not open, they let us use the building. Nothing served during the day. No but it was excellent. Really, we're starting to get into the problems and project-based learning, and that's a big part of the new tech, where it's more relevant, real life, meaningful assessments, meaningful, not that it's not now, but they try to make it as a real life problem, real life project. In fact, the bakery, I forget which class it is right now, is making the test tube holders for him over there.
The prime math class.
The prime math class.
Yeah.
And so planning that out and doing something that's actually being used by a business here in town. That's a classic example of what you want to do with PBL. So you have a businessman who presents a problem, gives it to us, and the kids figure out a solution and develop it in the bakery. And so that is happening. It's been happening here for the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep.
And so pretty cool. And that's really what the training was about, how to do that with the community and have real life problems and projects that they can do to make a difference in your community and the world. So good stuff. That's all I got. Any questions about anything?
All right, do we have any board member comments and items for future agendas? All right, future meetings. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be December the 16th, 2021, and January the 27th, 2022. And we will have our reorg meeting early January. Do we have the dates on that yet?
I do not.
Okay, we'll have it for you in the December meeting, so.
Thank you.
And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Jessica? Jessica?
I just wanted to hit that.